create anything in that first half, and if it's anything to go by in this second half, wing the score.
What on earth is going on at Derby County? After reaching Wembley last season with Frank Lampard, we now sit 16th and most likely will be in a relegation battle this season with Philip Cocu. Does that mean I'm blaming Cocu solely? No. I blame the team as well as Cocu because it's a mixture of both in my opinion. Players that last season I rated very highly, such as Martin Waghorn, this season he just isn't finding the back of the net and he's been in poor form. His tactics clearly haven't worked and got us form consistently. You know, in some games you could say they have worked, such as Huddersfield away, which was the first game of the season. But now they don't seem to be working, and our home form was what was keeping us in mid-table position because our away form was poor. Now that home form seems to have gone as confidence is low. Take yesterday's game, for example, which has pretty much been a carbon copy of most home games this season. We go goal down and then we show a response. We show a bit of intent to get a goal. I don't understand why we can't do that from the first whistle, because we should be doing that all game long. We should be wanting a goal, and it seems to take us going 1-0 down to get a response. But that response isn't great, as the midfield, the wingers, however you want to see it, we're not creating enough clear-cut chances. And I've mentioned this in numerous vlogs now. We're taking half chances, which, well done with taking a half chance. We haven't needed to create a clear-cut chance. But the game against Sheff Wednesday midweek, we only got a point because of a penalty. If we didn't get that penalty, we would have gone home without anything. Cocu wasn't given much time, you know, to get his own players in. Lampard left very late in pre-season. That's how far back this goes. We're about halfway through the season. I've got 2 more games until Christmas Day, which is when I say it's like halfway point of the season. First game of the season, we play some lovely football. Cocu's formation, the 4-2-3-1, away at Huddersfield. We win 2-1. Great goals from Tom Lawrence. He looks a new player, and everybody on that pitch looked good. And when I say everybody, I mean Kieran Dowell. I think Joseph Soon also played in that game as well. I mean, there were players who now we're looking at and going, we need to get them out of the club. So what you've got to keep in mind is this isn't Philip Cocu's team, and we're going to have to wait till after this January transfer window, and maybe even the summer, for Cocu to get his style properly in with his own players, because these aren't his players. But then again, I want to also put forward an argument that Steve McLaren, when he took us to Wembley, and that was my favourite season watching Derby, that wasn't his team. He had one transfer window in January, and he got a couple of players in on loan, but we still made it to Wembley with Nigel Clough's team. This is Frank Lampard's team. No, Joseph Soon was Frank Lampard's player. Dwayne Holmes, Martin Waghorn. Cocu's got some decent players, but they're just not turning up. After Huddersfield away, the football was never flowing and consistent. We were never battering teams. You know, we drew to West Brom 1-1, who are now top of the league, and that was a decent match from us, I remember. We played with confidence, but now we're getting to the tough part of the season, and players just don't look up for it, if I'm honest with you. Martin Waghorn has been off it this season, unfortunately, and I'd say I first noticed this at Stoke away, where we drew 2-2. Yes, he scored a brace, well done to him. He was good that day, but right at the death we had a one-on-one, and he should have scored. You can say it's a great save by Jack Butland, but he should have scored, and from then on I said, that's not good enough. And I mentioned in yesterday's vlog against Millwall, Waghorn missed 2 good chances to score, which another striker would have taken. Now, after yesterday's Millwall loss, there's a lot of things being said on social media, Cocu in or out. Personally, I'm Cocu in. I believe that Cocu should be here at Derby. He's been given a 4-year contract for a reason. And I know it's not been brilliant, he's not been brilliant, the team's not been brilliant. We've been talking about a transitional year for a long time now, and I'm fed up of hearing it. And now at Derby, I think we're really starting to see this transitional season, and he's got a couple of players in. I think he was told by the staff at Derby to get these players in because I don't think he rates half of them. Kieran Dowell just has been awful this season, unfortunately, and his confidence is shot. In my opinion, I'd send him back to Everton so he can get a different loan out. Patterson, decent player, I actually quite rate Patterson. He was probably the reason that we got the goal at Leeds to get a draw there, but he's just not been given game time for some reason. There's something up there once again. I don't think he enjoys it at Derby, so he's going back to Bristol City in January, I'm pretty sure. Players like Joseph Soon, who Cocu had faith in at the start of the season, he only just got in and around the starting 18 yesterday after a spell out of the first team, and there's a lot of players that just aren't doing it at Derby, and I'm being brutally honest in this. Usually I just call it how I see it, and I try to remain, like, let you guys make up your own opinion. But I'll just tell you how it is right now. There's a lot of that players in that Derby team that just aren't good enough. Just aren't good enough for the Championship. And I won't name names because they know who they are. I'm talking as if they're going to be watching the video. They ain't, but they know who they are and they know if they're good enough or not to be in that Derby County starting 11. Now, my expectations for this season, Derby County, we're going to finish low mid-table, probably where we are now, 16th. I don't think we'll get relegated, hopefully not, but it's definitely a possibility if this form continues, because now our home form's gone, we're just going to start dropping like a stone. But January's coming up, we will, pretty sure, get a couple of players in, probably loans, and I'm fine with that. You know, last season, look at the loan players we had last season, they dragged us as a club to Wembley, and that's possible again this season. Obviously, Wayne Rooney's coming in. I think he's going to be a class above the current players that we have, but I don't think he's going to drag us up to the playoffs. He's going to be a good player in a not great team, and it will be pretty obvious his ability, but score a couple of goals for us. He's not going to drag us there. I think he'll do more as a coach, if I'm honest with you. It's going to happen where we've had so many seasons of getting in or around the playoffs that we have a drop-off season. The 16-17 season is a great example of that. 13-14 season, playoffs. 14-15 season, didn't make it. 15-16 season, playoffs. 16-17 season, there was a lot of change in that 16-17 season, and that was probably a transitional season. Now you look back at it, you know, we had the expectation of the playoffs with Nigel Pearson when he came in. It didn't work, the formation that he was playing. He left Derby. Steve McLaren came in, shouldn't have been sacked in my opinion, but he was. Gary Rowett came in. You know, we didn't get into the playoffs, but we came close at the end. Season after that, Gary Rowett took us to the playoffs. And this season, I think we're going to see that once again. What I'm trying to keep in mind is Daniel Farke at Norwich. They finished 15th, 16th in his first season. Season after that, they won the Championship. I'm trying to keep that in mind because, you know, at some point after being so successful in the Championship and getting to the playoffs all these seasons and pushing, I think it was always going to happen that we were going to have a drop-off season. You know, at some point, I've always believed that at some point a good team will have a drop-off. You know, you look at Manchester United, they were winning Premier League titles so long now look at them, they've dropped off, and I think that's just what's happening with us. I don't think it will last more than a season, if I'm honest with you. When Koku gets in his players, gets a couple of new players in, it'll be interesting to see. All I've got to say to you Derby fans is keep the faith. You know, you can't stop supporting your team when it gets tough. You've got to just keep going, and you've got to enjoy the good times, because you've got to stick through the bad times, and then you'll remember the good times even better. And the good times are around the corner, because we've had the good times with Lampard. We've had a pretty poor first start to the season, which are the bad times. The good times are coming. They're on the horizon, so just keep that in mind. And if you have enjoyed this video, I've just spoken to you about Derby from my own personal opinion, then leave a like. Also comment down below. Share the video with your friends. You know, I think we're at 1.5k now, something like that. It's pretty solid, you know, it's good. I hope you're looking forward to the Reading vlog on Saturday, because that's going to be a class one. I'll see you in the next one.